What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we have some great news for you guys in terms of the Bulls potentially landing Giannis Antetokounmpo eventually down the line. We'll share with you guys information there. And then also, we got some bad injury news as Victor Wembanyama is officially out for the remainder of the year. So how does that affect the Chicago Bulls? What's coming up on today's show. But I do want to get you guys the injury news here first on Patrick Williams. The Bulls tweeted this out today, is that he will be reevaluated in 2 weeks, was dealing with that injury before the All-Star break, and it's not looking good for Patrick Williams in terms of his return to the lineup over the next couple of weeks. So he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So that does mean Modest Buzella should be getting more runs. So I also think that's great news for us Bulls fans. You know, anytime Modest is getting even 2-3 more minutes per game, I think that's just good news for the Bulls. But I do want to get you guys a friendly reminder on how close we are to 11.1 thousand subscribers here on YouTube. We just need 45 more of you guys to go down there and hit that sub button. It would be awesome if we could pick it up on today's show. So make sure you guys subscribe to the Bulls Report here by Chat Sports and stay up to date on everything around your Chicago Bulls. So the great news on Giannis, well, there are reports out there that he may not be looking to stay in Milwaukee long term. Shams on ESPN today says Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee, but if he doesn't see sustained long-term success there, he will look elsewhere. And this was the full quote coming in from Shams, saying, "Everyone knows Giannis Antetokounmpo loves the Bucks, but I'm here to tell you he loves winning more. That's why everyone in that Bucks organization knows what's at stake. Every summer, when he looks at the Bucks roster, he looks at sustained long-term winning. He has said publicly he doesn't feel like that is obtainable in Milwaukee." And also, the Bucks got even more bad news today, and this could lead to Giannis, potentially wanting out if the season does go down the drain. Bobby Portis, unfortunately, is receiving a 25-game suspension for violating the league's anti-drug policy. It also came out that he thought he was taking one substance, but he was taking another. So honestly, just bad luck right there for Bobby Portis. But in terms of Giannis potentially heading to the Bulls, I think they got a decent chance, to be one of the teams that could land Giannis. If we look at like the next team odds for Giannis, the Bulls actually aren't listed on this list, but I think they have an outside chance. We'll actually share with you guys what Boogie Cousins, former Giannis teammate, had to say about Giannis to Chicago. But the Knicks, they'll always be up there in terms of trading for a superstar, as they can just offer that cat deal plus some, other contracts and other assets like an OG or a Mikal Bridges. So they're plus 400. Then you got the Nets, and you got the Heat, the Lake Show, the Clippers, the Rockets. Keep your eyes out on the Thunder. I thought they were a little low on this list, and plus 2,000 considering they have a boatload of picks and some young talent they could attach. But we got to start off with Giannis's contract here. So his deal is for the next 2 seasons is pretty much taking up 35% of the cap. So this is what 35% of the cap is supposed to be over the next 2 years. $54.12 million in 2025-26, so next year, and then the year after that, $58.45 million. That's 35% of the cap. Then he does have a player option for $62 million. But you may be saying, Patrick, why the Chicago Bulls? We are in no position to trade for Giannis. Well, DeMarcus Cousins, right before the NBA trade deadline, had this interesting quote on a podcast saying, "As his teammate, I learned there's always truth in his humor, and he's a lot smarter than he likes to give." I could see that happening, especially if the experiment with Damian Lillard doesn't go as planned. It's obvious he was ready to move from Milwaukee once before. If this doesn't work out, I could absolutely see him in Chicago. It's right down the street. He's comfortable in the Midwest. And obviously, Chicago is a great market for any superstar. I just want to first give thanks to DeMarcus Cousins. It's a tough time to be a Bulls fan right now. I needed this, even though this is just a slim chance that Giannis would ever wear a Chicago Bull uniform. But also, I could see Giannis, like if he had to pick his next, destination for his NBA career, I bet you the Bulls would be very high up on that list. A team who has not had a lot of success over the last decade or so in the NBA. They're a great spot for a superstar. Giannis loves Michael Jordan. There are countless clips of him just talking about the aura around MJ and his time in Chicago. And plus, he does like staying in the Midwest. He's talked about he wants to be in a big market, and the Bulls, like, I understand nobody right now would want to go to Chicago, but if Giannis was there, I bet you the Bulls could be a very enticing destination to attract other free agents for Giannis. But more on him. This dude is, obviously one of the best players of all time. Don't need to sell you guys too much on Giannis here. I mean, just look at the last 4 seasons. This dude's ridiculous, almost averaging 40 points a night or 30 points a night over the last 4 years. And this season, he's having another great year, 32 points per game, 6 assists, and he's also shooting incredibly well, over 60% from the field over the last 2 seasons. I mean, he truly is a top 3 basketball player in the world. I love his intensity. He plays both sides of the floor, and he's just a game changer and a franchise type of changing player here. But how could the Bulls land him? This is the best I got here, guys. And honestly, the Bucks probably hang up the phone here. But to match Giannis' salary, you would have to include Nikola Vucevic and Patrick Williams. Then you throw in Kobe White as kind of that young guard that the Bucks may have interest in. But then you would have to attach 3 first-round picks. And also the Bulls regaining control over the first-rounders to trade them was so big in that Zach LaVine trade. So if you say to the Bucks, hey, unprotected picks in 25, 27, and 29, and we'll also give you a young player in Kobe White, young player in Patrick Williams, Nikola Vucevic, a solid center in the NBA. I'm curious to see what the Bucks would say to this. I'm assuming they're going to say absolutely not. Maybe you need to attach Io to this deal as well. But besides Modest Buzelis, anybody would be on the table for Giannis Antetokounmpo. But I'll ask you guys this. Would you accept this trade? Give me an A for accept or give me a D for decline. Obviously, I think everybody here should be saying A down in the comments section. You're landing Giannis. He is still a tremendous, tremendous player, top 3 guy in the league. And if the Bulls could somehow land him, man, it would be awesome. But Vooch, Patrick Williams, Kobe White, 3 first. What would you do? Now, we'll talk about the Victor Wembanyama injury news here and how it affects the Chicago Bulls. But before we do so, I want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Now, if you guys download the Prize Picks app today and plug in that promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is Prize Picks? Well, it's the best place to get real money sports action. And with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award and winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Now, a lot of these Bulls games are going to be blowouts for the remainder of the season. If you guys want to increase your viewing experience, Prize Picks is the number one way to do so. So download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you put your first $5 lineup. Got that link for you guys in the comments and description of today's show. But download the app today. Plug in promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks, though, for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, so the Wemby injury news and why it's not good for the Chicago Bulls. But pretty much Wemby is expected to miss the remainder of the season with a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. It's pretty much a blood clot there for Wemby. They don't view it as a career-altering injury, which is great news, but disappointing for the NBA fans because I love watching Wemby. He's an alien out there on the basketball court, and now the Spurs are pretty much an unwatchable team for the rest of the season. But I also do think the Spurs, I mean, talk about a team that is coming. And they're going to be very, very relevant in the NBA here quickly. They have a solid chance to have 2 top 10 picks. Number 1, their own. I mean, right now they're slated to pick, I think, 9th or 10th in the NBA. But then they also have the Atlanta Hawks first-round pick as well, which is unprotected. Now, right now the Hawks are still in the play-in tournament. However, they just traded DeAndre Hunter. They lost Jalen Johnson for the year. I could see them falling off the face of the cliff here. And here's actually how a tankathon shakes out. So the Wizards are projected to get the number 1 pick, then with the Pelicans behind them. But the Bulls are slotted into that 8 spot. Then the Spurs are at 10. So the Spurs, without Wemby, they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. They're going to lose a lot of games here. So this could be bad news for the Bulls because, just giving yourself that extra, percent chance to land the number 1 pick. Like right now, the Bulls have a 6% chance to land Cooper Flag. So the Bulls are going to need to lose a lot of games here, and I think they have a good chance. Like their schedule over the next 9 games is a doozy. Like you just lost to the Pistons right before All-Star break, but you're in New York tonight. You're 13-point dogs. You're going to lose that game against the Suns. Should lose that. This is a must-lose, though, in Philadelphia because we need the Sixers to win games, so hopefully they lose that. But Clippers, Raptors, Pacers, Cavs, Magic, Heat, you're losing all of those games. So how should Bulls fans be rooting for the rest of the season? Number 1, we should root to be losing every single game. I do not want the Bulls to win another game the rest of the season. I want to see development from the young guys, but we got to have a chance to land Cooper Flag here. Then you're also going to root for the Sixers to win games where they can catch the Bulls in the play-in because somehow the Bulls are 11 games under 500 and still in the play-in tournament. Then if you have any chance to land Giannis, hopefully they just collapse at the end of this year. And then the Trailblazers. Sneakily enough, the Bulls still have the Trailblazers first-round pick for next season. Now, it's lottery protected, then it turns into a second. But the Trailblazers have been hot before the All-Star break. If they could somehow sneak into the playoffs, and with the Spurs losing Wemby, not a good chance, but they have a better chance than they did earlier today. So that's the latest news and rumors around the Chicago Bulls. If you guys made it to the end of today's show, just give me a C red down below in the comments section so I can know where all the real ones are at. And also, if you guys, friendly reminder here, hit that subscribe button, lock us in. Don't miss a thing around your Chicago Bulls, and we'll see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.